Hello and welcome back to the exciting conclusion of the European Championships 2023. We have only 9 holes separating our competitors from that coveted title, as well as the remaining podium positions here in Tallinn, Estonia. History in the making. This is final round back 9 FPO lead card coverage brought to you by MDG Media. I'm Connor Wood, and with me once again, Rachel Turton.
Yeah, very excited to be joining you for this exciting back 9. Looking forward to seeing who is crowned our champion. Up in the lead, we have Kristin Tattar on 12 under overall. She had a tough start to the front 9, but looking forward to hoping to see her bring it back to her normal game. In second is Silva Saarinen, who's gained a couple of strokes on 2 under for the round so far. Eveliina behind her in 1 over, and Eveliina has climbed her way slightly up the leaderboard into 4th position.
And we'll kick off our back 9 here on hole 10. A par 4 at 193 meters. You have that narrow gap straight off the tee, although being quite close doesn't come into play too much. You then need to ensure that you play down this tunnel with that mando tree on the left, keeping players to the right. You want to try and get your drive out as far as you can, leaving you hopefully as short of an upshot as possible into this well-guarded green, full of trees, of course with the low ceiling, as they like to do here in this beautiful urban park-style golf.
Yeah, and what a beautiful place to play in the Tallinn Song Grounds. As we see Kristin getting a massage from Silva, her caddy and her partner. Eveliina takes to the tee and just pushes slightly to the right-hand side. That's a really nice shot. It just comes out, rises a little, and gets her a long way down the fairway.
And a great kick to open up her look on the second shot. Eveliina coming to this hole off an absolute park job on hole 9. Left her with a tap-in birdie. Maybe she's looking to ride that momentum here. We see Silva playing much more to the left side, although absolutely fine there. She'll be just short of that drop zone, which will leave her in room to attack, but with quite a lot of distance left. We will go to Henna.
Henna with a nice, low, slightly turnover shot. Just makes it over them rocks and will be up in line at about with the drop zone too. The drop zone's about 100 metres out, as we can see from the PRODIGY banner flag.
And Kristin there, looking to get her drive out, has it low and slightly turned over. Doesn't get too much distance and likely playing for par from that position. The birdie will be very difficult to manufacture, as we'll see with that information how aggressive she might get. I think probably just throwing a hyzer and trying to place herself back into the ideal center fairway position.
Agreed. She does just that. Should have about 25-30 metres to the basket from there. Silva nicely down the middle of the fairway. She is throwing a standstill shot from there. Also playing for par, really. She's about 25-30 metres out as well.
Interesting to note that wet grass may be contributing to her going standstill, trying to avoid any potential slips. We see Henna here. Certainly an opportunity to attack the green on this shot. Playing the low hyzer, she finds some skip in the ceiling there, keeping her lower than she would have liked to find herself all the way up. But certainly a long look at the birdie without a doubt. We go to Eveliina, looking to shape the forehand into the green.
Yeah, there's lots of different gaps to choose from to try and attack and get into the green just there. Eveliina pushing up to close to circle's edge.
See Kristin up first, is far enough to give herself a putt, but playing for par there. No reason to continue taking too many risks. Still 7 strokes above Silva, who continues to put the pressure with great putts and bids like that, even from deep.
As we move to Henna and Eveliina now, who both have slightly closer looks at the birdie. Henna from about 14 metres away. Gives it a nice safe bid. It'll be up inside the bullseye. And Eveliina from just inside the circle, looking to capitalise, and she does a brilliant putting stroke and a great birdie.
Fantastic, stringing them together here in holes 9 and 10. Eveliina back to even.
As our other 3 players on the lead card will all be inside the bullseye for their par looks.
And hole 10 here, going down the stretch. I think players beginning to be conscious of the scores actively, if not passively, as they might be in rounds, as we have 7 holes remaining, and in terms of score separation, players certainly aware of what's left, and maybe even the potential for an increase in nerves coming down this final stretch at this huge tournament.
Yeah, the spectators are building up as well.
Fantastic to see the enthusiasm. We see here hole 11, another par 3 sitting at right around 100 meters. This shot off the tee, you really want to push something straight, either with a soft turn over or hyzer flip up to flat, navigate that low ceiling and get yourself as close as possible to this elevated basket. You do have OB long, but with some guardian trees between the basket and them, often catching discs that might fire along either on the putt or drive.
Hole 11 playing as one of the more attackable holes, just slightly under par on the day. Eveliina with what's looking to be a brilliant shot. Just catches them the last couple of little leaves, but gets herself nicely up inside the circle.
Great speed there for Eveliina, able to crash through, find herself with another look at the birdie. We see Silva here, a little bit lower of a release, but a fine shape as she catches edge and skips forwards, absolutely parking. Hole 11 for Silva Saarinen. Beautiful execution.
That'll be an easy tap-in birdie for Silva. Henna with a slightly higher drive and looking to get that little skip and fade into the circle, which she does perfectly. She'll be putting from the middle.
3 great shots so far, potentially putting the pressure now on Kristin, who coming off the end of the front 9 certainly had some struggles. And we see it continue for her there with what looks like quite a healthy line, just not able to navigate that final gap. As another opportunity for her cardmates to potentially take the stroke on their leader. Kristin, though, with certainly a good look on hole 11 on the elevated.
Fantastic putt for Kristin just there, getting the birdie from long range. Hopefully that will help boost her confidence going into the next few holes.
And she shuts it down, not going to allow any strokes gained here. Yet another look here. Kristin Tattar putt, fantastic height, comfortable with the straddle, and you see the fist bump, what that means to her in this crucial moment in front of her home crowd.
Eveliina also looking to get the birdie, which she does. Three in a row now.
Hole 9 on the first half, she's put together 3 in a row.
Just slightly right side for Henna. Maybe the slight dampness of the putters from the ground is just affecting that grip a tiny bit. But she makes the comeback a 4 par.
And we go now to Silva with that beautiful line drive straight to the green. offering her the tap-in birdie to go 3 under for the round and 6 under total for the event. A great final stretch for her so far, as she looks to solidify her second place position at the European Championships. Hole 12, a par 5 at 237 meters. Our competitors will need to navigate this initial gap here. Managing the width, you want something with a left to right shape, although you need to ensure to push forwards before finding that rightwards movement. You then want to battle up this slightly narrow part of the fairway into the open field, then allowing you to crash this well-guarded green either under, around, or around these trees. Tucked away at the back there. Hole 12, certainly a very touchy shot off the tee, and Rachel, I'd guess one of the more difficult holes, although at a par 5, how did it play?
Yeah, at par 5 it plays as one of the easiest holes on the course at just under half a stroke over par. Our FPO lead card have the distance that they can easily reach there in a couple of shots, so hopefully we'll be looking at some birdie opportunities for them too. Eveliina with a brilliant drive down the middle. It's a perfectly straight pushing backhand and really nice. Great distance over that path. That's an ideal landing zone.
Very nice. We see an ideal backhand here with a late turn to its flight. Really need that forwards progress before turning. Silva, using the width available to her, finds herself just short of that path, but still very much in play for birdie. Both of those solid backhand drives.
Kristin going with the forehand route. I quite like the forehand here as the OB opens up on that right hand side once you get past the building. And that's perfectly executed right down the middle. Brilliant distance. A really great shot from Kristin.
We go to Henna now, also looking to shape the backhand. Slightly harder of a shot, and we see her with a high turned over release. Will certainly be contending with the trees on the right, but looks like she has kept it safe off the tree kick. Although that'll be a difficult spot.
Yeah, being slightly off the fairway on any of these holes really can lead to a much more difficult next shot. As we see Henna with pretty much a wall of trees in front of her. Needs to make it through these safely. Not
She
gaining.
does find herself on the back side of them, but still not the ideal position.
Yeah, not gaining tons of distance here. Silva looking to shoot through that tunnel. A nice turn of a backhand. Yeah, just pushing that left side, but stays clean. Hyzering out at the end, it will leave her with a nice upshot look.
And a long look at that eagle if she wants it too. Nice shots from Silva there. We see Eveliina really looking to put a move on this one, absolutely smushing the disc. Gets a lot of turnover and a ton of distance. She is pin high on her second throw, but out to the right. I think certainly a manageable birdie. Coming back, I think explaining to Jenny there what just happened.
Yeah, wow, huge distance there from Eveliina. Kristin with the second forehand in a row. She gets herself up into the fairway. It's a nice shot and will leave her with a clear up shot towards the basket.
We did see her in previous rounds able to find the birdie here on 12 with 3 consecutive forehands and the putt. She's looking to do the same here again. Henna still in a really compromised position and trying to chip away at that fairway, but as you mentioned, Rachel, the distance still not enough to make her par easy or even manageable. Her fourth throw, though, here, right? So
Yeah.
if she can get this to the green, is able to still save the par.
Yeah, it's probably about an 80-metre up shot from where she is. A great turnover shot. Will she make it through these branches? Just gets caught on some of the last ones and will leave her just outside the circle for her par look. The low ceilings towards the basket make it difficult to bring them long range up shots in.
Silva with a nice delivery there, maybe even giving it a bid for that 3. We saw her fire well long of the basket. At that height, I'd have to guess she might be entertaining the chance a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. She knows that she can make them longer comebackers, so giving it a chance is a good idea. Kristin just catching the last 3 just before the basket. We'll still give her a look at birdie. Eveliina now with the eagle chance. Catches some leaves, but will leave herself up into the circle for the birdie look. And Henna for her par. Just short and left.
Would have been a nice one for her to get. She certainly was pushing and scrambling on every throw from the tee to the green. We see Kristin there, I believe, for her par. Or birdie, rather.
Yeah. She should be able to tap in the par.
Yeah, left with a tap in par. No damage done. We go to Silva. This is for her birdie after trying to give that eagle bid.
Very nice. All the confidence.
Putts always with a great speed and accuracy to them. Silva has put together 2 in a row. We go to Eveliina now. Already has 3 birdies in a row on 9, 10, 11. Make that 4.
Brilliant start to this back 9 here for Eveliina. As Henna takes the first over par stroke on our card for this back 9.
And we saw difficulties for Henna going early right off the fairway and then unable to create too much distance with the limited space, resulting in that bogey for her. We see here hole 13, a par 4 slightly longer than some of the other par 4s here at 223 meters. As the drone flies here out of bounds, crossing this line back into inbounds. A lot of players will play a big safe hyzer. A lot of people choosing to play this one for par, as if you do push the distance off the tee and don't come back in bounds, you can be left with almost a re-tee. You want something straight to left flying and then straight to right shaping on your second or third shot, trying to access this green and then make your putt. The many dangers as well as the significant distance making this one a difficult birdie.
Yeah, an extremely difficult birdie. I believe there's only been 1 birdie in the whole tournament so far on this hole. Difficult tee shot with today's wind, just pushing them discs over to the left-hand side. Eveliina is kept safe by that tree on the left.
You'll see Silva now having a great final round so far, sitting at 7 under at the moment. You see her pushing that left side OB. Will bring the low ceiling into play if you are on the left side of the fairway, but that is the side of caution.
Although still not easy today with these larger ground skips. That wet grass just providing a bit more skip. As Kristin drifts to the left-hand side as well, but also stays safe.
In round 3, both Silva and Kristin were just adjacent drive to drive, as we see a similar result here today as well. Both of them executing on their game plans. We go to Henna. All of them using some really overstable discs there. You see them putting a lot of power and just a short straight push before dumping left. Really just some placement shots into the fairway for them. We go to Henna now. Likely a big hyzer back into the fairway on the left.
Yeah, hyzer around that next tree and just missing them trees on the right is a perfect shot, which she executes really nicely.
Eveliina doing the same here. A lot of height and speed. right into that sweet spot that you mentioned, Rachel. Both of them, easy access to the green from there.
Yep. Kristin also looking to do the same.
Not quite as much distance, but still very much in the open. All of these play for par. Silva as well. Her hyzer is a lot more pinched than the others, but she still opts to go for it. Thought there's a chance she may potentially look at that low ceiling and try to sneak her way through directly, but very nice shot for her, using the width even from the left side, demanding a more severe hyzer angle. No problem for her, but left with the longest upshot now into the green. By no means an easy shot, right towards the gallery. And buttery smooth delivery for Silva Saarinen.
Yeah, the only challenge now is just to give it enough height to be able to get over the small wall that's about 20 metres away from the basket, but not give it too much height in order to push long and into that close OB. As we see all the spectators lining up behind the basket, another hole where the OB is quite close into the basket, just maybe about C1 long. Kristin with the lovely forehand upshot will leave herself middle of the circle for her par look.
And we had an interesting tournament structure here with various fields between MPO, FPO juniors playing at different times of day. Coming into this final round, Rachel, what time of day are FPO playing at?
This is a morning round, a slightly later morning round than on the third round, as there's been a cut to the field at half of all of the fields. So a bit more of a lie-in today for our FPO lead card. I believe they teed off about 10:40 a.m.
A comfortable time, and for the spectators as well, able to enjoy this action. You can see just the volume of people now beginning to gather around the green. Really incredible atmosphere here.
Yeah, fantastic home crowds here for Kristin. It's lovely to see everyone come out and support her. Just slightly right side on the putt. It's quite a lot of pressure looking at the hundreds of eyes upon you.
Absolutely. In this moment, all eyes on our players. The cameras as well, and such an esteemed tournament. I think more nerves than potentially some others that they might be playing, and especially at this point in the season, all four of these players with so much tournament experience, although I think the nerves, at least in my experience, never really go away despite constant and frequent competition.
Yeah. Henna converting on her par putt 2, and Eveliina with the short tap in for her par. Three pars and one bogey, hole 13 showing how difficult it really is.
Here we are on hole 14, a par 4 at 172 meters, very possibly the most attackable of the par 4s here in this 18-hole layout. This fairly generous fairway does have OB to the left and the right, but anywhere near this structure here before this down slope of the fairway is a great place to be, allowing you to then throw your right-handed backhand hyzer into the green and hopefully attack for the birdie. Of course, no hole here without its dangers, but this one certainly playing is on the easier side.
Absolutely, yeah, playing as half a stroke under par on the day, a definite good chance for a birdie. Want to try and keep that tee shot just straight down the middle and not hyzer out too much to leave yourself in front of the big barrier. Eveliina just right side, but hopefully will hyzer back into the into the fairway. A good shot.
And playing to that right side does open up the entrance angle. If you're on the left, it's still totally fine, but requires a lot more work on that hyzer.
Silva with the slightly more turn over backhand, gets its full flight and a good distance.
As we see, Kristin's lead has shrunk to 5 strokes. Silva doing a great job to try and bridge that gap. We see Henna now also playing to the right side, cutting it back just in time along the line, testing the width of this fairway. We go to Kristin. Looks like a great shot for her down the middle. Pretty cut and dry, just like that. All 4 of our players in spot to attack the green.
Absolutely, yeah, they'll probably be left between 80 and 60 metres for their upshots.
We go to Henna, yet to find a birdie of her own here on the back 9. And a very common result there, catching the branches of that last tree, filtering to about circle's edge. To go wider than that, you have to throw quite a spike hyzer angle. We'll see if her card mates make a slight adjustment after seeing her line. We go to Kristin now.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that spike hyzer angle is probably the preferred one to get around the tree. Kristin executes it perfectly and will be about bullseye for in the circle for her birdie look. From that right hand side, the spike is a little bit more difficult. Eveliina executes it very nicely and will also leave herself just outside the bullseye in about middle of the circle for her birdie.
Silva with a great drive, just relying on her incredible backhand standstill abilities, and comes through cleanly for her there, sliding up to bullseye's edge. Almost certainly a birdie for Silva Saarinen.
Yeah, one that our FPO lead card will be certainly looking to capitalise on, the birdie. And just a little low.
Go to Eveliina now, just outside the bullseye. 4 or 5 meter putt left for her. And on the left side, she does catch chains, but not enough to fully grab the disc. That was for her birdie, so she'll be left with a tap in par. Silva for her 3. Very nicely done.
Eveliina with the par putt. And Kristin looking for a birdie. Perfect.
Very short putt. We've seen a few misfires from her on the green here today on some of the shorter side putts. Quite uncharacteristic from her.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little bit hard to watch, and I'm sure that anyone who plays disc golf has had one of these rounds where it just feels like absolutely nothing goes your way, but she's still persevering, she's still getting the birdies, and she's racking them up.
And she's still your solo leader coming into hole 15. This par 4 at 201 meters, you see a gradual upslope leading to this low ceiling. You have this gap to navigate here. Anything around the edge of this tree line will be enough to then position yourself before the pond, or even look to attack over this pond on your second throw with a great drive. You then want to crash the green. A lot of gaps available to these players. What they really need to avoid is coming up short and playing with the water, or hitting one of these early trees at the edge of the water. They can often create a roll or bounce backwards. A great hole that really encourages players to manage their risk and reward, and another potential huge score separator.
Yeah, absolutely. It played as half a stroke over par on the day, But like you say, a good opportunity for a birdie if you want to bring them risks into play. Or it's possible to play safe, lay up and take an easy par. Silva with a nice turnover shot into the middle of them trees just there. She'll be a little short and maybe that will be an easy decision for her. Kristin looking for the turnover and a really nicely executed shot.
She has a great control over her grace. A nice control driver there. We go to Eveliina. Has been known on this hole particularly to really try and push the distance out there, use her skill set, and you see her penetrate through that gap with a lot of speed. Very nicely done by Eveliina, and that should leave her with an opportunity to cross on the second if she wants to take that.
Yeah, she managed that low ceiling perfectly there with the hyzer backhand. Henna looking to take the same route but goes a little higher and just catches branches. That low ceiling really coming into play on a lot of these holes here at the Tallinn Song Festival grounds.
Henna also very comfortable with that standstill, something that we see a lot out of those Finnish players.
Yeah, making the decision just to lay up there before the pond. Silva also with the layup. You want to try and get as close to that path as you can to make your upshot short. Silva with the just unlucky finish, yeah, just into that tree.
Will potentially have an awkward or obstructed throwing stroke. We see for Kristin pushing that one up very nicely as well. No danger there, and in fact I think that path even still inbounds, but over that path is where you begin to find the OB line. We do go to Eveliina here with a huge drive, looking to have a huge approach, and fortunately kicking left. She's crossed the pond in her second and is left with a long look at the birdie. Although slightly more to the right side, she didn't find the fade late in the flight that she needed. You see her priority was to make sure she's safe on the other side.
Yeah, and that Mando tree on the right hand side just preventing the large hyzer backhands. Henna makes it through them last trees and gets herself onto the green. Silva with a much more difficult lie here from the tree. She's very adept at them straddles and a fantastic player from standstill. Pushes it nice and wide with the hyzer and brings herself inside the circle. Showing some rare emotion there.
And getting knuckles from Jenny. Always good to see players enjoying the moment at these big events.
Yeah, and a well executed shot from a difficult lie. Kristin with the forehand across and will leave herself just on the circle's edge for her par putt.
Eveliina here, a long chance for her birdie from circle to about 14 or 15 meters. And a healthy looking bid, just a little bit short, but will be walking away with a tap in par. No worries there for her. However, as we continue to look at the scores, realizing that after this there are only 3 remaining, the separation between the players a little bit more than those 3 available holes left. I'm not sure, maybe on these scorecards the chase card could be getting involved here, but all of them there now with a few holes remaining to try and capitalize, and we see that from Henna.
Silva also needing to straddle to try and get around that tree, as did Kristin. Unfortunately, just can't convert.
As we are seeing, we also saw a little bit of frustration from her on that missed putt. Normally very stoic. We get to see both the smile and the loss of the Jenny earlier, as well as the frustration. We see what this potential, the tournament, rather, her potential finish could mean to her in terms as a player. Of course, a great moment, an opportunity to build your name on the big stage here at the European Championships.
Yeah, and she's on an absolutely fantastic round as well. 4 under for the round and 7 under overall for Silva Saarinen. A brilliant performance from her so far. As Kristin taps in her bogey and Eveliina taps in her par.
We now continue to hole 16. A par 3 at 101 meters. Very thematic and similar to these other par 3s, right around 100 with the low ceiling as well as OB long. You really need to navigate the height nicely, have a good forwards pushing drive, and try to hit the distance just right. Of course, the elevated basket to increase the complexity and your stress on the green. Always an extra element here to keep these players thinking.
Once again, that OB long is within the circle, so you don't want to push that drive too long, but you want to give it enough power to be able to get through that low ceiling. Eveliina just catching branches on the right hand side will be over the path, so should be left with between a 30 and 40 metre upshot towards the basket.
We see Henna, who's had a slightly slower back nine.
Brilliant height control.
Opportunity here. Great looking line.
Yeah, we'll be left just outside the circle with a look at birdie.
Silva looking to try and use the height and width a little bit and shape that flex. But she'll still be left with a lot of distance, probably 70 or so still to the green. We go to Kristin now, our leader. Finds the same tree as Silva. Kicking forwards and to the right, does cross that out of bounds. As you see a bit of an exasperated sigh from her, walking another circumstance off a kick that is effectively removing par from play for Kristin.
Yeah, another really unfortunate, unlucky break for Kristin there. Just finding that path and just skipping. Some days it just feels like nothing goes your way.
Looking to get as close as possible for the bogey, and that leaf really leaving her with a lot of work left.
Eveliina with the pitch up forehand really nicely into the bullseye. We're left with a very short tap in.
She walks up to her lie, and opts rather to just lay that one up to the elevated. Understanding the circumstances of both the scores and the remaining holes, is confident that that will be enough for her. Henna here, looking to attack for her birdie, and a beautiful putt to find her first on the back nine, and a moment of redemption for her after a tough round. Great to capitalize on that one.
Yeah, really nice to see her convert and get another green stroke on her scorecard.
We see Henna, more known for her drive than her putt, but certainly able to turn it on. We see that floaty bit onto the elevated and cashing it in. A great pace and height to that putt.
Silva also with the birdie opportunity and cashes and the par. Yeah, of course she caught the early trees, didn't she? Yeah.
But she's so good. Silva's so good on the green. It's always a pleasure to watch. Just that confident, stoic delivery.
As Kristin taps in her double bogey after the OB.
Yeah, I was going to say, we see that stroke lead between Kristin and Silva. That putt dropping to 3 now with 2 holes left. I think something that very few people foresaw, given the huge cushion Kristin came in with, but with a swing of fate here. On hole 17, the second to last of the tournament, another absolute potential for score separation here. Par 3, 99 meters, although uphill, playing probably around 110 or 115. You have this pure tunnel shot with OB on all sides and the familiar Mando to the right. Coming down the stretch, this will really test your nerves, and if you're having a good round, you just want to try and keep it clean. If you're having a bad round, this is one where you could even either blow up or look for redemption. Really exciting hole.
Very exciting hole, yeah. Hole 17 plays as another quite difficult one, as half a stroke over par on the day. Like you say, you really want to lace one down the middle, as any tree kick could leave you either OB left or OB right. Another difficult, tight fairway. And a very early left, kicks the tree but stays nicely in the middle of the fairway. She'll still have a very long way to get up to the basket.
We see Eveliina now on the tee. She's remained clean on this back nine so far. This is looking like a good drive in terms of progress. She does make it to that path. I'd say that final path there really marking when you're in a reasonable putting distance, and I think she's right at the edge of that. A very manageable 3 and looking to remain bogey-free on the back nine for Eveliina. We go to Silva Saarinen, currently pushing for that lead position. A crucial moment for her, and just like that, she too has found herself near that path. A long open putt for her up the hill.
Yeah, that's definitely within the Silva range. Kristin has had really good success with this hole on previous days.
And an absolutely critical moment for Kristin Tattar. Coming in with a 3-stroke lead in first with 2 to go. Finds herself in circle 2, navigating the width and height very nicely. The crowd happy to see it.
Yeah, fantastic shot from Kristin there, I agree. In what must feel like an extremely high pressure moment as well.
Henna is able to get her way up there, although with a lengthy putt remaining for her par. Rachel, how did this hole average in terms of scoring on this final round?
Hole 17 played as 0.5 of a stroke over par on the day. Not too much difficulty here on this final day. Eveliina with a long look at birdie, and yeah, gets up into the bullseye very nicely. We'll have a tap in par. This is definitely within Silva Saarinen's range, and I'm sure she will be looking to capitalise. Just low.
It's a healthy line.
But yeah, a fantastic shot still. Not happy with it out the hand.
Yeah, some mild disgust from her. Not too pleased with it. I think in her head right now is I want to win this tournament, and that putt could mean a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. She's really climbed herself up them strokes today. She's had an absolutely fantastic round, and yeah, I'm sure that she would have really liked to get that one. Kristin just outside the circle for her birdie look.
And just low out of the hand, although she did have the privilege of seeing Silva go first, knowing that there is not going to be a stroke swing if she can just ensure the 3. Unclear, I think. Do you think she was going for that one?
It looked pretty soft to me, and I'm sure that's a very good decision from there as well. Just know that Silva hasn't made the putt either, so par would do her well. Don't need to make the game more difficult than it already is.
Absolutely. Eveliina continuing her clean back 9. Henna finding the bogey there on our lead card, and pars for the others. And here we are. The final hole separating our competitors from their final results. Hole 18 back towards the amphitheater off another scenic elevated basket. It's par 4 sitting at 161 meters, significantly downhill. The green is certainly reachable in one shot if you trust your disc over OB and have the power on what is likely a big flex or hyzer flip. A really incredible hole to get the ending on. A great tournament with the crowd's eyes on you. An opportunity to find the eagle, find the birdie, everything's still in play here on hole 18.
A nail-biting finish,
action.
yeah, absolutely. A par 4 for the FPO field. This hole plays as the easiest hole on the course at over half a stroke under par. It's a possible eagle opportunity here for our lead card. They all have the distance to be able to reach the basket. But do they go for the shot?
I can imagine Kristin may be the only one not incentivized to go for the eagle. I think the 3 will be just fine for her, but we'll get to that in a moment. We see Eveliina, her final tee shot of the tournament, sitting at 2 under. This looks like an incredible drive. We see it pushed up to flat on the right side, coming to crash the green. Look at the speed on that.
Yeah, fantastic shot from Eveliina. Perhaps some more skips on this green than in previous days due to the wet conditions. But really nicely from Eveliina up into C2.
And you saw with what even looked to be like quite a generous width from Eveliina, still ending left of the basket. You really have to go wide right. But erring to the side of caution, we see Silva as well going for more of a turnover line straight at it. She too will find herself roughly pin high and to the left. We go now to your leader, Kristin Tattar. If she can put this inbounds, effectively closing the door for her competitors. This is extremely close, but finds it with enough height and speed at circle's edge. A raucous applause from the crowd. She's left with an 11-meter putt for eagle.
Yeah.
And likely an easy layup for the tournament.
Really trusting herself, putting it out to that right-hand side. A fantastic, perfectly executed shot from Kristin. Henna going with that wide hyzer as well. Gives it a bit more height. And lands inside the circle. A fantastic shot. What a way to end the tournament. Kristin there really showing her emotion. It's probably not been the round that she imagined it would be, but she executed that tee shot so perfectly, and she'll be walking down to her home crowd now and having all the spectators cheer for her and knowing that everybody is behind her. What an emotional moment, and yeah, fantastic.
Despite this tricky last round, certainly a performance that will go down in history. We start ourselves on the green here with Silva from circle 2 for the eagle bid. I think everyone looking to close out strong. She'll be left with a tap-in birdie from the bullseye. An incredible performance from Silva, particularly in this final round. Eveliina getting up there. Kristin able to just lay this up and take the tournament.
The crowd behind her clapping and cheering, and yeah, she's done it. Henna with a look at eagle just off the cage. Brilliant drive from her. So much emotion on display here at the green of hole 18.
Silva with a 5 under round. Really impressive to push Kristin. Despite the separation coming into this round, really gave it a battle till the very end. We see both Henna and Eveliina tap out as well for their birdies. And here, Kristin Tattar, your 2023 European FPO champion. What an incredible moment as we see just what it means to her, what it means to this country as a whole, to have her be their representative on the global scale. An incredible ambassador for the sport and an incredible performance and tournament for Kristin Tattar.
Absolutely, yes. Such a well-deserved win. So much emotion on display here on the final hole. She's done it. A fantastic finish, and yeah, what a trophy to add to her career.
Heart-wrenching round for Kristin, leading to this heartwarming moment now. She's able to take a breath, realizing that she's done enough.
Yeah, she persevered, held on all the way to the very end. A very difficult thing to do when your round isn't going as you wanted or expected it to.
and in fact handed the trophy there by the president of Estonia. A great opportunity for her, seized in this moment. Congratulations to Kristin Tattar and all of the other FPO competitors who gathered here in Tallinn, Estonia to compete at this incredible venue. A momentous occasion. Walk us through the final standings, Rachel.
Kristin Tattar, your 2023 European champion on 11 under. Silva Saarinen with a fantastic final round at 5 under, taking her to 8 under for the tournament, giving Kristin quite the run there. Eveliina in 3rd position with 3 under, and Eveliina from the chase card pulling herself up into 4th position.
We see Henna from our card falling to 5th with a 5 over round. Still was able to put together some very solid disc golf, landing her on multiple lead cards. Wow. We thank all of you for joining us for coverage of the European Disc Golf Championships happening every 2 years. Very fortunate to be a part of this production. Rachel, thank you as always for joining me. And thank you to our viewers. You can like, comment, and subscribe, or check us out on Patreon. And we'll see you at the next tournament.
It's been a pleasure.